Students, last lecture we have completed the chapter that is regular expression, and now again we are going to continue with the unit number 4 and the next chapter, that is object oriented programming. As we have learned in C++ about the object oriented programming, so object oriented programming is nothing but basically the concept related to class, object, then we have inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, data abstraction, overriding, so overloading, so all such topics which we have already learned in first year in object oriented programming of C++. The same topic we are going to have in Python also. That is, Python is again object oriented programming language. So Python is again having the concept related to object, classes and all. So whenever we are trying to learn, or whenever we start learning object oriented programming, there are some terms which we should know. So the first term which is related to object oriented programming is object. So object is nothing but the real world entity that contains some unique characteristics. For example, mouse, keyboard, chair, table, pen, these are the objects. Okay. Then we have class. Class is nothing but the collection of objects, or it is a logical entity that has some specific attributes and method. Like we are creating class. In class we have to declare some variables. Class contains some methods, right? So these are specific attributes and method. These are nothing but the logical entity which are associated with the class. For example, if you have a student class, then it should contain attribute or method like name, standard, age. These are the attributes. Means this type of information we are going to store inside or store about the student class with the help of object. In student class, if you are having 10 students, so 10 students are nothing but the 10 objects. So basically, in simple word, we can say that object is a runtime entity. Okay, or we can say that it is a kind of blueprint, and class is a blueprint. Okay, so if we are having class and we are not creating its object, then there is no use. And if you are having object but there is no class, again there is no use. So all both the, we can say that entities or both the terms are associated with each other. Then we have method. Method means whenever we want to take some information, like we have seen in this slide the example about the student class. In student class we are having different attributes like name, standard, age. So to take the values of all such attributes from the user to display it or to use them in calculation, then for that purpose we have to create one group of statements which are enclosed together to perform a specific task, and that is nothing but the method. Okay, so whenever we want to the class can contain multiple methods, and whenever you want to call the class method, then first you have to create the object, and with the help of object only you can call the class method. So it's again similar to other programming languages. Next thing which we are having, that is the inheritance. Inheritance term we all know that inheritance is nothing but one class can share with the another class through the inheritance. That is, one class or one object acquires the properties and behavior of the parent object, and even that particular class can have its own properties, own behavior also. So main use of inheritance is it allows us the reusability of a code. Means suppose we are having class A and there is one method which I want to use in class B also. So if we are not having the concept of inheritance, then what we should do, we have to create one more method inside the class B or same method inside class B, right? So why to write the same code again and again? And this is the reason why the concept of inheritance is developed, because of which what happened, if the child class is inheriting the parent class, automatically the methods and attributes of the parent class will be derived or inherited in the child class. So this is the advantage. That is, the same method if we want in the second class, then we don't need to write that method. We can directly call if we are inheriting that class. So that is inheritance. Next we are having the concept of polymorphism. Polymorphism we have seen, we are having method overloading concept, method overriding concept. So that comes under polymorphism. And this is actually common terminology which you know, that is polymorphism is the word which derive from two words, poly and morphism. So poly means many and morphism means forms. If we are using one thing in different forms, then we can say that polymorphism. For example, we are having method overloading. In method overloading, we are having same method name, but we are using the same method name to perform different actions, different calculations on different data. So it is called as method overloading, and that is one of the type of polymorphism only. The next we are having encapsulation. Encapsulation basically means we are having class. So whenever you want to have some variables which is called as attributes, and whenever you want to declare the methods to take the values of that variable from the user to display them or to use them in the calculation, so everything we are encapsulating inside a single class. In the class we are specifying all the content. So indirectly we are not doing, that is we are performing one task, that is we are wrapping the content like attributes and methods in a single class. So that is called as encapsulation. Like a capsule is contains some we can say that medicines or material, so like that only the class contains the attributes method. Okay, so that is one of the example of encapsulation. The next topic is data abstraction. Data abstraction means whatever is necessary for the user, just display that thing only to the user and hide the implementation details. For that you can take example of we can say that ATM machine. As a normal user, I am not the programmer, but as a normal user, what I want or what I supposed to expect from the ATM machine, whenever I will insert a card, it will ask you for the PIN number, and after that once I have entered proper PIN number, it should ask me the options like withdraw, balance check, or change the PIN code, like that options. So if suppose I want to withdraw some amount, I will enter the amount and the machine should dispense some cash. So this is my simple expectation from the ATM machine. But when we swipe the card in the ATM machine, there in the background there are some processes which are performed. Whenever we are entering the PIN code, sometimes if you have entered wrong PIN code, okay, so you will get the error message. Why we are getting the error message? Because in the background it is going to check, that is whether this is a right PIN code associated with this card, that is checked. So we are not showing this information to the user. Well, because if your user want to withdraw, then the machine should dispense cash. But background there are so many activities, that is called as implementation detail. So we are simply hiding the implementation detail from the user and displaying only the specific information which user wants. Okay, so that is called as data abstraction. So now we are going to start with the first class program of the Python. So like other programming languages, whenever we want to create a class in Python language, we have to make use of one keyword, that is class. After class keyword, you will write down the name of the class. Like most of the time we are taking A, B, C, D, whatever name you want you can take, and the naming rules and conventions are almost similar to the other programming language, means, or to the variables, means as we have seen that variable should start with the character, it should not contain spaces, it can have only one special character like underscore, it should be meaningful. So like that the same rules and regulation you have to follow for the class name. And after giving the class name, just put a colon, and after colon you can declare the variables, you can have the methods inside the class. So all the content will be there, but it is very important that the content should be indented. Means after class keyword you cannot directly start writing the content, it should be indented, means after some spaces the statement should be displayed, so that we can come to know that yes, these are the statements which are inside the class. So just see the example PR 10.1. We have to create one simple class. So while creating the class, in actually syntax they have not specified the round bracket, right? But now just see the example. In the example they have created st class. So how the class is created? Class, then we have st into round bracket, empty round brackets we are using, class st, empty round brackets which are called as parenthesis, then we have to use colon. After that in st class I want to create one function. So as we all know that the function is created with the help of def keyword. So inside the st class we are having show function. So how that function is displayed? Def space show into round bracket self. Now it is again very important. Just consider this thing as a part or as a syntax only. Whenever we are creating methods inside the class, we should provide self keyword, self attribute. Okay, that will be your first parameter always. So now I have created show method inside the st class. So in the show method I have passed self as a default parameter, which is compulsory to write, and after that put a colon. And now inside show method I want to write some content, and that content is nothing but we have just simply printed hello message by writing print into round bracket within a double quotes hello. So this is your simple class now we have created. And as I explained you previously, if we are having class and if you want to access the methods or attributes which are present inside the class, then we have to create object of a class first, and then with the help of object, like other programming language, we can call its method. So just now see, after the class is completed, the printing statement is completed, exactly below the class keyword we are having s equal to st. So that is nothing but the object creation. S is the name or object of a class. And why it is object of a class? Because after s equal to what we have written st into round brackets. So it is nothing but we are indirectly calling the constructors. Because as we have learned in other programming languages, if we are putting the round bracket, that is parenthesis, after the class name, that is considered as a constructor. So because of this particular sentence, the default constructor will get called. So s equal to st, this is the way to create class object. Okay, and after that now I want to call the print show method, which is part of st class. So what is object of st class? S. So just write down object name dot method name with the parenthesis. So this is the reason why what we have written s dot show in and then empty parenthesis. If it is parameterized method, then you have to pass the parameter. So now the self attribute which we have used as a default parameter for the class method. So what is meaning of this particular attribute? The first argument of every class method is always a reference to the current instance of the class. By convention, this argument is always named safe. So basically with the help of sys, like in other programming languages, we are having this keyword, this, which we have used in C++ also. So the same thing is performed with the help of, we can say that, self keyword, which indicates the current class reference, okay, or instance. So self is not a reserve keyword in Python, it is just a strong convention. It is not a reserve keyword. It's not a keyword, we can use it as a variable name also, but most of the time try to avoid, otherwise it will create the ambiguity. So I hope this is clear to you, that is how to create a class, how to create a method inside the class, how to create object of a class, and how to call the method of the class. These 4 things we have learned from this particular slide. Now next is, as in case of C++, we are having access specifier like public colon, private colon, protected colon, like that we were having the specifier. So similarly, whenever in Python you want to specify a specific method or attribute to be private, then that is possible to declare the private variables or private method. And just to declare the private variable, before the variable name we will simply put 2 times underscore. So now just see the example. We are having st class, in that y equal to 2. So y is normal, or we can say that public variable. Okay, and we have used, but before we have used 2 times underscore. Okay, so 2 times underscore, then we are having v, it means v is a private variable. So I hope it is clear to you that how to declare the private variable. And like the concept in other programming languages, that is public keyword can be easily accessible outside of the class, but private variables we cannot access outside of the class. So the same rule and regulation is there in Python also. That is, whenever we are trying to print s dot y. So y is local variable. So we are not going to have any error. Simply 2 is displayed. But when you are trying to print s dot double underscore v, so double underscore v means it is a private variable. So you cannot display private variable outside of the class. You will get the error message. Okay. So like in other programming languages, in C++ we have seen by default the scope of all the methods or variables of the class was private in nature. But in case of Python, all the variables are by default public in nature. All the variables and methods are public. If you want to make them private, then just put 2 time underscore symbol. So I hope this is clear to you. The concepts are very small actually, but so many concepts are there, or so many things are there which you should remember, and that will be definitely remember to you. But for that you need to have some practice. Now next thing which we are having, that is properties. Now we are not having a properties concept in C++, but in other higher programming languages like .NET and all, we are having the property get and set. These are the properties which we are used to take the values from the user and display them. So similarly in Python also we are having properties. So property is used to control the accessibility of the class variable, and it's the recommended way to access variable from the outside in an object oriented programming. So outside variable, whenever we want to access inside the class, then in that situation we are making use of property. Okay. So now they have given the syntax for the property. Whenever we want to get some outside variable with the help of property, then we just have to write down property into round bracket. There are some methods like fget equal to none, fset equal to none, fdel equal to none, and doc equal to none. So basically property is having total 4 parameters, but out of which starting 2 parameters are, we can say that, compulsory, fget and fset. And they have just given you the example like fget and fset. It's not the name of the property. If you want, you can have your own name for the property. That it will be clear from the explanation or from the example actually. So now after this syntax they have given the meaning of fget. So fget is nothing but a function for getting an attribute value, and fset is a function which is used to set the attribute value. And fdel means whenever you want to delete attribute, specific attribute value, then in that situation we can make use of fdel. And last one is doc, which creates doc string for the attribute. So now just see the example. uh, Class st colon we have written. After that, now the next line is new for you, that is we are having def keyword, then we have 2 time underscore, in it again 2 time underscore into round bracket self comma t. So in it they have used, that is nothing but whenever you want to create constructor in Python language, then we are making use of 2 time underscore unit init, then again 2 time underscore. So init keyword is used to specify the constructor. So like C++, it's not like that the class name constructor is having same name as a class name. Here the way is different in Python programming. If you want to create a constructor in Python programming, then we have to use 2 time underscore init 2 time underscore. And again the first parameter, default parameter for the constructor also, it should be self, and after that you can have parameterized constructor. So by providing after self they have provided t as a parameter, so it means the constructor which we have created, that is parameterized constructor. And after that self dot underscore t, as we all know that they have used 2 times underscore, so it is showing that it is private in nature. And self dot underscore t means self dot underscore t, self means the current class st, okay, which is having t variable. Like in C++ we have seen the program, that is global and local variable are having same name. So same thing they have used, that is underscore t is a local variable, okay, sorry, it is a global variable, and only t is a, it is a we can say that local variable because it is parameter variable. So underscore t is a global and only t is a local variable. So now we want to assign local variable value to the global one, and this is the reason why we have used self dot underscore t equal to t, because as you all know, in Python we don't need to declare any variable with its data type and all. So this is the reason why we have not declared self dot underscore t. We cannot write only name of the variable. After that there should be some calculation and all, or we should use the self dot underscore t variable inside the print statement. Only you cannot write self dot underscore t. So in a constructor, st class constructor, we are using self dot underscore t equal to t. Okay, then we are here now. I have created one method, like they have given f get f set like method. So like that only I have created one method, that is get underscore t, with the help of which I will take the t variable value. So get method will return self dot underscore t. Similarly, I am having one more method to assign the value, to store the value inside the t variable. So for the same I have written self dot underscore t equal to t, the same sentence which we have used inside the constructor. That particular statement only I have used while setting the value, because in this program what we want to do, we are having one t variable which is a kind of, we can say that, global variable, and to this specific variable I want to assign local variable value, that is parameter value. So that we have written. Then I have created one more function del underscore t, just to delete the value of underscore t variable. So like that we are having actually 4 function inside the class st. First one is the constructor, second one is the get method to get the value for the attribute underscore t, and then we have set underscore t method, which is used to set the value, or we can say that assign the value to the attribute underscore t, and the last one is we are deleting the attribute value by using del underscore t method. So in that I have used del. So del keyword is basically used to delete the value of the specific variable, okay, or we can say that it is used to delete the variable only. And after that t equal to property into round bracket get underscore t comma set underscore t, means we are actually calling the both the methods, property methods, which we have created, because now we want to store the private variable value, that is local value, to the global variable, which is by default private in nature. So inside t equal to the get method or the set method, whatever code we have written, that will be executed and its value is assigned to the t variable. Okay, so now because of this line t equal to property into round bracket get underscore t comma set underscore t, actual value of t will change. And after outside of the class, first we will create the object, and now as in case of st class we are having constructor. So as we all know that constructor is gets called when an object of a class is created, and this is the reason why s1 is the object of st class. And when we have created the object s1, then s1 equal to s2 into round bracket we have written 4, because in st class we are having parameterized constructor, so we need to provide one value. And then printing statement we have simply print s1 dot t. So this part from the, we can say that t is 4, so the 4 value is passed to the get t method, set t method, and again after some calculation the value is stored inside the t variable, and that will be printed as a output 4. So this is properties. Then we have built-in class attributes. So we are having underscore doc underscore, like we have seen underscore init underscore, 2 times underscore init, 2 times underscore, that is actually read as a double underscore. So double underscore init double underscore, this particular attribute we are using to create constructor. Like that we are having other so many attributes, built-in class attributes, like double underscore doc double underscore. So it is a class documentation string or none if undefined. Then we have underscore double underscore dict underscore, double underscore dict and again double underscore. So basically it is used to represent the dictionary containing the class namespace. Like that we are having name module main and basis. Okay, all these attributes, built-in class attribute we are having, actually it will be clear to you when we will see the example. So in the next slide we are going to see the example. So this is example in which we have used all the built-in class attributes. So we are having one class st, in which I am having, or I am just display the content as within a double quotes hello s equal to t, and then we are having one private variable underscore t equal to 3. So which is private variable means it is not accessible outside. Then in first print statement what we have printed st dot s. So it will give you the answer as 2, because st is the class which is having s as a variable, and what value we have assigned to that variable 2, so that will be displayed. After that st dot underscore double underscore doc double underscore. So this will display the, we can say that document. Document means now we have just written within a double quotes hello content. Okay, we have not used s equal to within double quotes hello. So if you are writing s equal to within a double quotes hello means that will be there is a one string variable s to which we have assigned the hello value. But now this is just a document, or this is just a line which is present inside the class. So whenever we are having such lines, such content to display, then we can make use of doc attribute. And this is the reason why, just see what output you got, hello. Hello word is display. Then we have dict. So dict means basically it will give you, we can say that the path where you have selected, or all the information about the specific program. Like just see the output, because of st dot double underscore dict double underscore, what output you got? You got the output in tuple format. Curly brackets we are having means we are making, sorry, it is displayed in dictionary format, because it is a dictionary, and inside the dictionary we are having key and value pair. So first key is doc and its value is hello. Second key is module and its value is main. Then we have st dot 2 time underscore t, which is having 3 as a value. Then we have dict as a key, which is having attribute into round bracket dict of st object. Like that we got the information. So basically dict will give you the result in the form of dictionary, in which it will display all the information, okay, about the class and its object. Then the next thing which we are having, that is st dot underscore name underscore. So it will give you, or name attribute will give you the name of the class. So what is name of the class? st. So that is display. After that, module. Module means by default all the programs which we are writing all are stored inside the main. Okay, main we can say that module. So module is main only. And after that, next one is st dot underscore underscore base underscore. So it will give you the result as within a round bracket. So round bracket means base will give you the result in a tuple format. And now we are having, it is not, we are not using the inheritance, and this is the reason why it will give you the output as class object. Whenever you are having inheritance, then it will give you the base class as output. So these are some built-in class attributes. Then we have creating object. Just now we have seen, whenever you want to create object of a class, then simply write down object name equal to class name. Okay, so actually the program is given in which they have not created the object, that is s equal to st parenthesis is missing, and then only we can call the method of the class. So I hope this is clear to you, creating the object, how we can create the object in Python. Then we are having in constructor. Actually constructor topic we have already seen. That is, whenever we want to create a constructor, we have to make use of double underscore init double underscore. Constructor is again parameterless parameterized. Parameterized constructor now we have seen in property program. Okay, so whenever we are having parameterized constructor, we will, when we create object of a class, that time within the parenthesis of the class name we have to specify the parameter. Then it can be anything. So that will be considered as a parameterized constructor. So I'm just reading the steps to create the constructor. So basically constructor is invoked at the time of object creation, that is common, and constructor is used to construct, or whenever you want to initialize some values, whenever you want to assign some value to the variable, in that situation we are making use of constructor. So whenever we want to create the constructor function should begins with the double underscore, then init, and again double underscore and round bracket. While creating an object, a constructor can accept argument if necessary. If it is parameterized constructor, then only it will accept the arguments. When you create a class without a constructor, Python automatically create a default constructor. It's similar to other programming languages. If we are not having constructor, like first program which we have seen, then it automatically called the default constructor, and basically default constructor means the constructor which is having nothing in its definition. The constructor, the fourth point, the constructor must have at least one argument, which is self. Like in method in Python, whenever we are creating the method inside the class, we are providing one argument. In the same way only, in constructor also we should provide at least self as argument. Other than self also we can have, but self is a default argument which we should use. When the method is called, the object being instantiated and is passed, and thus is bound to self throughout the code. So whatever values which we are providing as a parameter to the constructor, that value we can use in any methods, in simple words. So in the example, first they have given parameterless constructor. So just see the first example 10.6. We have created one class st. Then I have created the constructor def, then double underscore init, double underscore into round bracket self. So after self we have not provided any variable by putting the comma. It means it is parameterless constructor. Okay, and in the definition of this constructor of st class, I have just printed one statement, that is constructor call. After this you will create the object v equal to st. So whenever we create the object, that time only constructor is invoked. So you will get to see the output when you run the program. In second example 10.7, we are having parameterized constructor. So parameterized constructor means again the way of creating constructor is same, with the help of double underscore init double underscore, but now just see the parameters. We are having self is the first parameter, and we are having one more parameter, that is n. So it is parameterized, and we have just simply display the message as hello and the n value. So now when we create the object for the st class, so now we want to call the constructor which should match the signature. So now we are having constructor which is having single parameter. So whenever we will create the object, that time we will provide single parameter, or we will pass the single parameter to the object creation, that is v equal to st into round bracket within a single quote Sonali they have written, that is string we have passed. In place of string you can take any number also. So you will get to see the output as hello, and the Sonali, the parameter which we have passed, that is given to, or that is assigned to the n variable of the constructor, and then it is displayed. So this is constructor. And now like constructor we are having the concept of destructor also. So if you want to create a destructor in C++, we are using tilde symbol after the name, before the name of the class. So now like init is used to create the constructor, we are having del double underscore del double underscore. So this is nothing but the destructor which is used to destroy an instance of class which is no longer reference. So now if you notice the program, in class st we are having constructor with one parameter, and there is destructor. Again destructor should have self as a parameter. So when we have created the object v equal to st into round bracket I have passed Sonali. So this is the first object. So Sonali value is assigned to n, and we will get the output as Sonali, hello Sonali. Like that we have created one more object. Once we are done with the object creation, at the end the deleted, that is deleted is a printing statement which is present inside the destructor, so that will get called. So as we all, this is actually common in as compared to other programming language, that is if we are having constructor methods and destructors. So definitely first constructor will get called, after the methods are called, and after that destructor is called. The same sequence is followed in Python also. First constructor is called, then methods are called if they are present, and at the end only we can say that destructor is called. So this much is there in today's lecture. We will meet in the next lecture. Thank you very much.